Hello, friends, it's Robin. Quick little bonus drop because, drum roll, we have been nominated for a Signal Award. Woo! Okay, our nomination is in the money and finance category, which, honestly feels absolutely perfect because, as you all know, I do love math, I love spreadsheets, and I love all things budgeting. Do not judge me. Okay, but here's the thing. We'd love it if you could vote for us. It's super easy. All you have to do is go to vote.signalaward.com. And that website, it's going to be in the show notes, folks. We're going to make it easy for you. And when you get there, just search for Well Adjusting and then click that shiny little button and vote for us. That's it. No long forums, no waiting in line, no talking to people. We love that. And guess what? The race is tight right now. So every vote counts. And it helps more people find out about this little podcast. And it gives me one more reason to color code my Google Sheets. So again, go to vote.signalaward.com, search Well Adjusting, and hook us up with a vote, or simply click the link in the show notes. And thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for adjusting with us. And if we win, I promise not to make another spreadsheet joke for, at least a week. Probably.
Edit audio.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Hopkins, and this is Well Adjusting, where I talk to people about life stuff, but not in an NPR way. It's more like we're at the bar, having cocktails, getting into your business sort of way.
It's giving drunk NPR.
Oh, and producer Steph is here too.
Hello.
Today we chat, well, when you're wondering whether it's the job market or discrimination. Hello, friends. Welcome back. We are so happy that you are here. And I think that you're going to be happy you're here too, because today we are joined by Tom. She is a lovely lady who is not that far out of uni, and she is part of the gig economy. Now, as a trans woman, she's very worried that some doors for employment have been or will be closed because of who she is. So we are going to unpack the difference between a shitty work economy and lack of opportunity versus when it's discrimination. And we're going to talk about how to be healthy and optimistic when you're facing both. Now, I do have to say this, do not be sad, but producer Steph was on a plane while we recorded this one. But fear not, because I made Maria, who I love to refer to as producer editor extraordinaire, P. Maria, I made her jump in. And it is so fun. Okay, here is Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom Sayers. I'm a journalist and I'm an audio producer. I am from the UK. I went through New York and now I live in Toronto in Canada.
Oh, we probably passed each other in Brooklyn. Well, what's the issue you want to pick apart with us today?
So I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while, which is finding a job or finding work while just existing as a trans woman.
All right. So we're jumping in. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey? Because I think that'll help set up the conversation.
For sure. Yeah. I came out as a trans woman 2020, which was the second to last year of my undergrad degree. Right. So pretty critical time, career-wise, also just life-wise. And since then, I've worked in a bar. I've worked in operations and logistics for a bar company. I've worked as events assistant, slash person who puts tables out. And now I work as a journalist. I graduated from NYU last year. So it's been quite the journey. And one thing I will say is that I don't think that journey would have taken me as long if I was not a trans woman.
Do you mean because you were up against your own process of having to come out and all of that kind of stuff, like the emotional journey part? Or do you mean something different?
I think it's a combination of both, right? I think part of that is me figuring out who I am and that needing to happen before. I could not be in the job that I'm in now, in the career that I'm in now. I'm a freelancer, so that's the job. Yeah. And I wouldn't be doing that if I didn't know who I was and wasn't very comfortable with who I am. But I would also say it's a product of, I don't want to use the word discrimination because I don't necessarily think it's quite as fierce as that. But I do think it's kind of tension between myself and the work, and also just other people's perceptions of me and the work.
Okay, so you are freelancing as a journalist right now, and you're in the audio world as well. So how is it showing up for you right now? Like, are you noticing like doors are closed, or are you not knocking on the doors? Like, how is it showing up in your work career?
Yeah, so earlier on, it was definitely that I was not knocking on the doors because I felt like the doors didn't want me to knock.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that in some cases, the doors actually didn't want me to knock, right? And I think more recently, it's that the doors either are not there, right? Or that there's like an obstacle in the way. Because I find often, I spend all my time like looking for work. Anytime I'm not working, I'm looking for the next thing. I'm looking what I'm going to be doing next week or in 3 months, depending on the timeline. And for example, if I'm pitching work, right, I've got to think very carefully about where that might be best placed and how they might use that work. I write a lot about the LGBTQ community.
Right.
And I need to be very, very careful that's not going to be taken out of context. And then I think the other thing is that there's a lot of jobs that are very... No one's going to write in a job description, we don't want trans people, right?
Yeah, of course.
But, or maybe some people might. I don't say everyone. Yeah. But I, for example, might look at a job description and think, this is great. This is the job I've wanted to do. And then I go and look and say it's a podcast, right? And I got to go look at their most recent episodes. And it might be the case that their most recent episodes are debating whether or not I exist or debating whether or not I should have rights.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is entirely unique to being trans, but I don't ever hear anyone talking about that, of like, I can't go and work for someone who is debating whether or not I have the right to exist.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that I can't do that morally. Like, obviously that's part of it, but they don't want me.
Right.
Like, I can't send a job application in and be openly trans to somewhere that is doing that kind of work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's very similar for most, if not all, oppressed classes of people, right? But like, I don't say that to not acknowledge, because I think it is important to acknowledge that trans folks right now, that it's the every bit of light is being focused on trans people, and that is making it so much worse. So it's like, I could see how that would be just like in the forefront of every conversation or every search you're doing.
Yeah. Do you know when this dawned on me, really, was I started working on a project about employment in March, about the experiences trans people have faced in employment in the 1990s and like compared to today.
Yeah.
And this was in the UK specifically. And it just dawned on me that nothing's changed. And in a way, it feels like it's got worse because people want to debate us.
Yeah. Well, there's been a freedom, like something has been unlocked, that it's safe to say all the things that in the 90s I feel like people wouldn't say. And now, like, people have not just like the will and the space and the approval to say it, but they have a megaphone with social media. So that stuff is happening. So it almost feels worse in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think it does feel worse because I think in a way there was a lot of worse things being trans in the 90s, right? But it wasn't quite such, as some people might put it, hot button issue.
Right.
And look, I don't think that trans people are any kind of issue, right? But because this attention is around it, everyone seems to want to have an opinion. And you're right, there's something that has shifted where people feel like they want an opinion on trans people. And here's the thing, is even those people that want to do right by us, I find often are not actually doing right by us.
Right.
Like, even the most well-meaning people, the way that people kind of act is very, I want to understand, and I want to find out, which involves like asking you personal inappropriate questions in a job interview, for example.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no doubt that the landscape fucking sucks. I mean, we just like say it just like that.
Wherever you go, whatever they get into. From chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredelioQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.
I want to take it from the landscape to Tom, right? And I want to ask you, like, in terms of the job search, like how it shows up in your day to day, like, do you feel like you're not getting work because of it? Or do you feel like you have a running commentary in your head about, like, I know sometimes because, and this is stay with me, people. I'm like the worst for my analogies or my like comparisons, but like I'm an actor and I'm a girl who fights with her weight. Right. So I will, if I don't book something or if I don't, whatever, I have all these conversations about I'm too fat. That's why I didn't get it. And it might have just been like, hey, honey, your audition wasn't good enough. Or they had 250 other people and they were just as good as you or the same as you and they had 5 more credits than you. Like, it's like, I make it mean, and I'm not insinuating that you are, but I know that that's something I go through. So I'm just trying to see, like, in what level and what ways does it like show up for you in the search and in the getting of the jobs?
Yeah. So I will say that now I have to be very, very intentional. And I'll tell you for why, which is because when I was younger, out of my undergrad and in the years between that and doing my master's, I would just apply to like any job because you have to apply for jobs to get them, right? It's quantity, not quality, to an extent, and you are kind of almost like conditioned that like you see a job you would remotely be qualified for and you apply blindly. And that got me to the point where I was very much feeling, as you kind of suggested, Robin, like I couldn't tell if I wasn't getting the jobs because of my identity and how I was putting, and I think it's not just my identity, it's how I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
Like I am Tom who's a girl, and there's not many Toms who are girls.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to be very careful about how I'm putting it out there so people know, but it doesn't seem like obnoxious because it's not the kind of thing you usually include in a job application.
Sure.
But more recently, I have to be very intentional so that I don't end up in this position where I'm applying to jobs I don't even know if I want and not getting them because I really never had a chance at getting them anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very difficult to identify, like, am I not getting this job because I do not have the qualifications, because I don't have the experience, or am I not getting this job because they don't want me for me?
Yep.
And there are some instances where it's really obvious. Like, I don't even get a response, and it's like a job that I really should be able to do. And then there's also the fact that thousands of people apply to jobs. So there's
especially
also
if
that
you're using like online portals, because who knows if they're even looking at them. I feel like sometimes they're just covering themselves legally and posting jobs because they're now legally required to in the States anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. And one thing that I will say is that up until this summer, I've only done, in journalism, I'd only done jobs related to my identity, which I know is a very common thing. And this summer, I did the first job that was not related to my identity. And both of those came through because of people that I know.
Yeah.
Right? It was through, and again, we're not talking about anything groundbreaking here, but it's understanding those practices that are more important for me than they might be for the next person.
Yeah.
And it's not about important for me to get the job. It's important for me to feel comfortable and safe and not just drive myself insane trying to get jobs that I realize later I don't even want are not good for me.
Well, it's almost like you have to be a digital detective. And again, this speaks to like what you were talking about earlier about even the best intentioned people ask a lot of questions and it puts the work back on the oppressed person. And it fucking sucks. Again, maybe that's gonna be the title of the show. It fucking sucks sometimes. But I'm almost thinking of like finding a way, like having a filter of I applied on LinkedIn. Okay. How many people actually hear back? What are the percentages of hearing back on LinkedIn so that you can go, okay, so that one wasn't about me. Or was it a reach in terms of the skill set? So finding a filter of all the things that are not related to you as a trans person and having that in your bag so you could like, because there are two pieces. There's the emotion of it, of like how this makes you feel. But then there's the stuff that is just the logistics of looking for a job that are difficult for everyone. And having a filter where you can, like, maybe there was something you really, really wanted and you didn't get it, to like put it through that filter and see, okay, that's my emotion. And that is, maybe my resume wasn't quite what they needed yet. How does that land with you? Like, does that seem like that would be helpful, or what does that bring up for you?
Yes, I love that idea. I love that idea because that's partly what I already do, right? Somebody said to me recently, if you track your jobs and you know you get 2 out of 100 jobs, you know there's a 2% success rate. So we're already like great minds, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, building in some of those other things, it's really, really important to separate the emotional labor. A friend said to me recently, this job is really stressing me out, and all the jobs are really stressing me out. And so I'm not doing any emotional labor for these people. And I just thought that was such a, like, I don't know how quite you've just decided, like, love that for you.
I know. I'm like, that's so interesting. I'm like,
yeah.
What does that mean? And what does that look like?
I think biggest thing is like, I'm not going to let this get to me.
Ooh, I love
and
that.
There are instances where people are like really blatantly obvious, and that's an obvious thing. Like, I'm not going to let, like, if someone emails me something horrible, I'm not going to let that get to me, obviously, right?
Because you don't want to work with those fucks anyway. Like,
oh, I don't want to work with those fucks. Like, if you're gonna be so obvious about it, right? But I'll give you an example, which is when I used to work in this office, one of the very, very high up people would constantly misgender me, right? And there is 2 types of people in the workplace. There's people that would gender me correctly because they feel like they have to, because they've been told they have to or they lose their job. Not that anyone's ever going to lose their job for not using my right pronouns. And there are people that just don't care. And then there are people that are going to do it because they see me for who I am.
Right.
And I can tell that difference. And one of the very high up people, he just used to walk around and he did not have any care, despite this being an inclusive workplace where everyone has the opportunity to shine. And I had people that were real champions of me there. And that's an example of where back then I took that and I just thought that was okay. Right.
Yeah.
And now it's almost like your filter, but building in extra steps, which is like, again, you said like the digital detective. I'm making sure that that's not going to happen before I'm even applying for the job, not before I've even got the job, before I'm even applying, because for me, that's where the emotional labor is writing that application, expressing why I want this, and like knowing deep down I don't even want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's so interesting is that, like, as a young person who's beginning their career, that's part of the work anyway, right? It's part of the work is learning that confidence to be like, do I want to work for you? Like, I didn't get that till like my mid to late 30s. Like, I was a poor kid who, if you offered me a job, I was taking it. I also didn't get invited to the prom, so if you invited me to a party, I was coming. Like, it took me a long time to like build the confidence to not say yes to whatever was thrown my way. And so I like love hearing you that you're already at your age being like, fuck this shit. Like, I love that. I want to know what you think about this, because sometimes as a young person, I think there's that trade-off of like, this company, I don't love their this, and this. However, it's a higher up position that I know is going to bump my career off in this path. So it's almost like you're constantly in this space of trying to evaluate, is it worth it?
Yeah. I'm really glad that you brought this up, Robin. I am, because this is what I mean when I think it wouldn't have taken me as long in one sense, which is that you take this position that's like not really ideal because it's going to get you that leg up. I would have applied for that. I would have applied for these things. And I think if I was a different person, like, I'm also neurodivergent and like I'm also very like, I can't do things that are going to end up like even if they don't harm me, harming someone else, like I just can't sort of like kick my brain into gear to do that. I think it's really, really important to know that it's okay for it to, like, it's so fucked that it takes longer and that it's harder, but I think it's okay for it to take longer to spare your sanity.
Yeah.
Like, because I didn't get a job straight out of uni, and I cannot stress enough that like my uni was so get a job. I'm talking 97% employment rate at graduation.
Yeah.
And I am so glad it took me longer, because the practice that I have now, even though I spend a lot of my time looking for work, is so much better for me than it was like 5 years ago.
I mean, you're talking about the scales, right? You're talking about like, if I take this, is it worth this? And I think what I hear that's really, really encouraging is how aware you are of this and how much you are present to it and how you are using that as you already have a bit of a filter. And I think there's just some adding to it. And I want to say this. I have some thoughts about like some things that might be helpful, but we have our special producer, Maria, who is sitting here today in substitution for producer Steph. And I want her to come in and see if she has thoughts about what we've said so far. You're doing great, Maria.
Thoughts.
You're doing great.
You were talking about a couple of recent pieces of work which you kind of threw away as like, but I've got those through people that I know or some kind of connections. Like in my experience of freelancing, that's like 90% of the work. So don't feel weird about that's how you're getting things. And like that will probably continue to be like your main supply of stuff, which is actually like...
It's a credit to you, though. It says that people want to work with you. They've heard you're good. So yeah. Don't skew that away.
But you also said that those two bits of work were... one was very much like about identity, and one was not. And I wondered, correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like you don't want to be pigeonholed into just doing like queer stuff. Is that right?
Well, in an ideal world, I would always do stuff about queer stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I think that this is the issue, is that if I was choosing that, right? But there's a difference if someone else is choosing that for me. And if the only opportunities that are open for me is that. And this is a long and ongoing problem in the audio industry. Like, this is nothing new, but it dawned on me at one point, which is like, am I only ever going to write about trans people? Because like, I love trans people, and like in an ideal world, that's all I'd ever do. But is it all I'm ever going to be able to do? What if I decide I don't want to do that one day?
Yeah. So I wanted to ask if, like, basically just how it felt when you were working on the project that wasn't to do with identity. Did it feel like, oh, there's this whole world of stuff? Or was it like, but this isn't what I want to do? Or other?
It was nice to have a break, honestly. It was nice to have a break. I mean, there's stuff that I do that's more personal, which is about identity and queer expression. I love doing that, right? There's stuff that I do that, but I will say it's very hard. The other thing that I do, which is write about like anti-LGBTQ hate, I do that more just because I kind of fell into it. That's the bit that I kind of feel like, am I always going to be doing this? Am I always going to be writing about people that hate me? It's a really great thing to do, right? Because I love like exposing these people. I love like finding out.
And we
all
love
these,
that
like,
you're doing that.
But you know, it's hard. It's really hard, and I do it primarily because it pays the bills.
Yeah.
Like half the bills, maybe.
But I think again, that's part of like you finding, you know, because there's plenty of people who run LGBTQ organizations and they've made that their career and they're doing good work and it's their passion. And then there's people who, you know, who are like, that's just one part of me. I'm over here and I'm doing things about, you know, something else I'm interested in, like fishing, fly fishing. I don't know. And then there's people who like want to be able to do both. And I think it sounds like with every job, you're getting more information about who you are and what you want to do. And that part of me that's a mom wants to just say to you, that's going to come. And just be patient on that. It's like you finding your way of where you want to work and what you want to work. And I understand the like not wanting to be pigeonholed, but I also think that is part of the career journey, and to be a little patient there if you can. What do you think about that?
I think it's good advice. Like, generally, I think it's good advice. But like I said, it was just really nice to have a break.
Yeah.
Like, doing stuff that's about people that hate me all the time, I just know it's not good for me. I need to do something else to balance it out. So it's not just about, like, you're right. And like, I love that I'm figuring out what I enjoy doing the most. But to have a summer where I didn't have to like internalize or worry about internalizing any like hatred was great. And I guess in a way it's ironic because I'm talking about all these jobs that I couldn't get because people in them hate me, and I've just gone and worked for somebody that likes me, but
you're writing about the people that hate you. There is a bit of irony there. But and that's I wonder if you know what my next question is going to be, which is, are you getting support for all of that stuff? Because like we did start talking about all of that in the beginning about the microscope that you all are under and the hatred that's coming your way. So do you have support in place for that side of things?
Yeah, I have a really good support network around me now, but I didn't even just like 6 months ago. I didn't. I was working on it, but you know, shit takes time. And I was making my story about employment at the same time that the UK Supreme Court ruled that like I'm not a woman, which is like bullshit because I am. And it's funny because everything that everyone ever talks to me about comes back to me being a woman. And that was the moment that I realized like you're right. I need to have this support network if I want to be able to be sustainable in this career.
I would tell you to, in your filter, have that be one arm, because I don't care why one's being rejected. Constant rejection takes its toll. It can take its toll on your confidence. It can take your toll. And that's, not exclusive to being trans or being in the queer community. It can really like chip down a lot of who you are. So it's like, I just want to make sure that that's one arm of when you're building the filter, of like even using the filter is, I think, in a way, a support mechanism, because you're going to look at it and you're going to quantify it and be like, look at that. 3 out of 5 things here, 3.5 out of 5 things here point to this had nothing to do with me and my identity, but it still hurts because I wanted that.
Yeah. And I mean, I do need to be better at like having support built in, and I think I have a great support system for friends, but the more you talk about it as part of this filter, right, it speaks to me. It speaks to me that because I'm a freelancer, I work on my own, right? And, if I'm working for somebody, I don't tend to know them very well. I have 1 or 2 people that I work with regularly that I have a stronger relationship with. But yeah, I think you're right. I need to find a way of building that into my filter.
It also makes me think about mentorship. So I'm thinking back to the first podcast that I did. The very first print piece that someone did was this trans woman writer from the Daily Dot who was lovely and did this really nice piece on us. And she's in entertainment, she's in writing, and she's a trans woman who's a little bit further along in her career. And I'm just thinking like, man, somebody like that, like to reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm you, but probably 10 years younger. I don't know how old she is. I'm sorry if I just made you seem old, Anna. But like anybody who reaches out to me, like that sounds marginally professional, I will do a meeting and I'll be like, sure, here's what I know about what you're saying. And here's some ideas. And here's a couple people you can talk to. So I wouldn't be afraid to find a person who feels right for you that could be like someone who's been through it and who has been successful, because there's hope in that too, as well as advice.
Yeah. And I don't have a mentor. I think it's something that's kind of been on my mind, and I'm like really glad that you mentioned it, Robin. But I do seek out people that are like me. I need to shout out one resource, which is amazing: the Trans Journalists Association, the TJA. I mean, it's just it's like very new. We don't have a conference yet, but it's a brilliant resource of a brilliant group of people who are all trans, identified as trans in some way or another, and like it's a great place for jobs and resources like that, but it's also a great place to celebrate things that are great and that also get advice and share things that we're struggling with in the same way.
That's fantastic. So that's going to be my homework for you. My 2 bits of homework for you are going to be, I want you to like spend some time thinking about how you could put more support in your life. What would that look like? Is that, maybe you are the one who is getting the conference for this association. Like, so maybe you're building a broader community. Maybe you're getting a life coach. Maybe you're, like spending some time thinking about that. And then my other piece is to find someone to mentor you who has been in your shoes so that you have like, so you have a person, at least one person you could call and go, this happened. Tell, am I crazy that shouldn't have happened? Or is that wrong?
Oh my God, I need that so much.
Yeah, you need a hotline to somebody, but you got to build the relationship first.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I do have somebody that is great, but he's not a trans woman.
Okay.
But I think that is really important because he's great and he is so helpful, but he does not understand the nuance of being a trans woman and navigating all of this. And I think that you've kind of hit something important on the head, which is that like someone who's been in my shoes.
Yeah.
He, a gay man, has not been in my shoes.
Right. And there's no limit. You can have multiple mentors, which is, so you can build a team a team Tom that's all about you and moving you forward. Now,
I love this.
I do want to hear what Maria has to say in terms of homework. Poor Maria was like, why do I have to be on this podcast? She's like, I prefer to produce and edit.
And Robin's like, no, I'm going to shoehorn you in.
Yeah, no.
I do actually have a thought. It's kind of along the same like people lines, and going back to like getting work through connections. If, as I believe, a lot of freelance stuff comes that way, if, as we all probably believe, you're getting unfairly judged or eliminated from other job applications, I think like networking is going to really be your best friend. And I think, yes, mentors, and not only will you just learn from their like lived experiences, but they will have hopefully huge networks that they can hook you up with appropriate people. But also, and I'm aware that I'm giving advice that would absolutely terrify me to my core, but like, going to horrible networking events, but also just going to like spaces that feel safe and like creative people meetups. It doesn't have to specifically be in journalism, it doesn't have to be in audio, but maybe it's queer oriented, or maybe it's just like that this particular bar you feel fine at, so it's like it's going to be a safe place for you to go to, but then you're going to meet interesting people and widen your circle, especially like you're not in your home country, so, and it sounds like not even your most recent home, so like you're in a new place, like you've got to get out and start talking to people. And being freelance, like you said, you're working at home by yourself a lot, so it's like meeting the people that then a month, a year, 10 years down the line might have an opportunity for you.
Yeah, here's the thing about me, I love networking. Like nobody says that, and it's like a very like, my friends are like, come to me like, how do you do it? I just like having conversations with people. I can yap for days.
Great.
I think it's great advice, like going to the networking events. I think I need to go to more. Like I got very good at going to the New York, and I think new place, need to go to some.
And I think like the targeted approach too, my old boss, who I just love, used to say at the end of every informational or networking, whatever, you just, say, oh, is there anybody that you think that would be good for me to talk to? And that question, it's like, that's like that my reference is going to be way too old already before I even say it. It's like there used to be this commercial that would be like, she tells 2 friends and she tells 2 friends. It was like some old shampoo commercial. Anyway, but my point is, I think that like targeted approach of like doing all the things that you're really good at, which is the chatting and the analysis and whatever, and then being like, well, and who else what do you think I should talk to? Because I 100,000,000,000% agree with Maria. I have not put a resume together. I'm knocking wood. I have not put a resume together since 1999. Every job I have gotten has been because people know me and they know my work ethic and they know who I am. So to me, that says great things about you. It means what I want to say is I hear so many things that you're on the right track. I just want to make sure you're getting support because you're in a tough situation and it's hard. I want to make sure you're taking care of yourself and just like some slight tweaks. Like I think you're doing great.
That's good. I'm really glad that you guys think I'm doing great. I think.
Do you think you're doing great?
Okay, so right now, yes, because I've just done this huge project and it's just finished on Friday and it feels great. And then I was kind of feeling like a bit of a fraud at the weekend because I was like, am I still going through this? Am I still finding work? Yeah, I'm always finding work. Like, you know, I know what I'm doing for the next 3 months, but beyond that, who the fuck knows? The one thing I wanted to say about networking, which is that like, I just talk about like not the work.
Yes.
Like, you know, you can't go on any nice holidays or like, I don't know, whatever. And that works.
It does. Because people can tell if you just are there because you just want something from them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to just say on so many fronts, welcome to the club. We all feel like imposters. We all feel like we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're all hustling for our next job. You just got to support all the extra stuff that you have to go through. And I know I'm speaking for everyone in the well-adjusting team that it fucking sucks. You have to go through it. But you can build a community. You can build the support. And I hope that you add us to your community now because, you know, you kind of can't get rid of us. Once we're here, that's it.
That's good. No, I like that. It's nice to have community. And it's nice to have community that know it fucking sucks.
Right?
Yeah. It's been so fun to talk to you.
Okay, Steph, it is the moment of truth. You know what I'm about to say? Yeah, you know what I'm about to say? We need to report back on how we did on our first Steph and Robin Get Well assignment.
All right, I'm excited. I'm nervous.
All right, quick review for anyone that missed the episode 2 weeks ago with Dash. And hey, if you missed it, it's okay. Just go back. So we decided to assign ourselves homework and report back because most of y'all know we dish it out, but you may not know that sometimes we can't take it. Like we don't do our own homework. So we chose trying to implement 2 small everyday things that would help us. I wanted to stretch every day and I wanted to wear my mouth guard at night. And Steph wanted to do some movement and floss each day. Here is how we did. Okay, I am talking quietly because I'm hiding out in the bride's room at the Diker Beach Golf Club while my son golfs. I did cheat a little bit and had done my stretches this morning already before we recorded. And so the question is, will I want to do the mouthwash, teeth brush before I do my retainer? So I'll report back tomorrow.
Why don't you do the mouthwash, teeth brush before the audition and then only drink water?
Okay. Yesterday I hit the I don't wannas. So with my back right now, I was in a lot of pain. But I do know that the stretches and stuff help with that. But it's I didn't want to feel that and I didn't want to do it. And I didn't.
Oh, Robin, I have been so bad and now I don't even have a good excuse because you're traveling too and you're doing everything we're supposed to do. I haven't done any of the things I want to do. I didn't even go and buy floss.
Okay, I'm in LA. I think this could be my most proudest night. I mean, I flew today. I'm tired. I had a couple drinks at dinner, and I did not want to do it. But I did feel like I had some wind under my wings of the nighttime routine. I put on some music, and I did it. Then it kind of led to a dance party, which, if there's cameras in this room, I'm going to be pretty darn embarrassed.
Okay, either you shamed me into it or inspired me, I guess is the positive way of looking at that. But I'm now on my 1-hour walk, and before I left, I flossed my teeth because turns out my partner owns floss, so whoop whoop.
All right, so I didn't do that bad. I mean, I feel like accountability helped me. I do think that reporting to you specifically and having to say it in audio, that definitely helped. I still don't know what to do about the I don't wannas. That's the, because it's.
Do you feel like they were at bay anymore or not really?
On the retainer thing, I think that, in the most recent months of getting celiac and realizing I don't know if it's just my age, but realizing this is all I got with this body. I was I don't want to get all these fucking cavities and then have to get dental work. So I have that was consistent. I kept it.
Ooh.
And I'm still doing it. So I'm doing
that's
great.
Huge.
Right? I'm doing great there. But the other side though, the physical stretching stuff, I just didn't want to. And I don't I don't know what to do about the I don't want us, because it's like in those moments, I know I'm not going to do it. I know I don't want to, and I don't know if anyone could make me.
So you really don't believe there's like a thing that would make you do them? Like if I was at your house, I was like, Robin, do your fucking stretches. Like I'm going to stand here in your doorway until you do them.
I don't want to moments, I'd probably just get annoyed with you. Okay, let's talk about you.
I feel like I did really poorly. And normally
like
I'm
a
pretty
role
good
reversal.
at everything. I had like, I just said normally I'm pretty good at everything. I didn't mean that. I just mean like normally when I put my mind to something, I'll do it. If I like commit to it. Oh man, that was funny. But I just had a lot of like things thrown at me out of left field. My two things were like I wanted to do some sort of physical activity every day and I wanted to floss my teeth. But when I first started, I was in London. I didn't have floss. I was there for work. I was like, I am getting physical activity, so check to that. I either went to the gym or went on like, you know, a 10-mile walk every day. So like I did a lot of activity, but I didn't have floss and I like could not be fucked to like go to a pharmacy and buy floss while I was in London. Like I just was not doing it. So I got home, so I started flossing and I was doing my physical activity. And then I went to the podiatrist and I broke my ankle really badly 2 years ago. And I'm going to TLDR this, but she basically told me that she thinks I need another surgery on my ankle soon. And for the next 2 weeks, I need to be in an ankle brace the entire time, like all day. I had to throw physical activity, including just like a light walk out the window. So I've sort of compartmentalized that part of my thing, and I've just doubled down on the flossing because I don't know how to approach the first half.
Well, I mean, I feel like a learning there is like we have to be flexible. Right? Like we can't be so rigid that we're just like, you know.
Or I'm a huge fucking failure and
I'm going to go with my version. I think mine's a little kinder.
Yeah, no, for sure. That is a good way to look at it.
Okay, so Steph, we're doing these in 2-week increments. What's our next one? I had 2 ideas. One is the stop technique, which we've talked about ad nauseum. And the other one is the Pomodoro method thing, which I had never heard of, but like your team was telling me about. It's like you do things in like 20-minute increments.
Okay, my only issue with the stop one is, do I have to say stop out loud?
No, that's the Josh, I'm back. Stop is when you're in the middle of something and you stop, take a breath. It's like S is stop, T is take a breath, O is observe your feelings, and P is proceed. Next right action.
I think that one would be more helpful for me during this time in my life where I'm not allowed to exercise.
Okay, I think if that is most helpful to you right now, let's do that. Let's do the stop technique.
Okay.
All right, I love this. We are on it. It is all happening.
It's happening.
And I do want to say to anyone who's listening at home, hey, do you want to join Steph and Robin Get Well? You can email us and tell us how it's going. Oh, and if you do it with a voice note, even better. And we might include you in an upcoming episode. So just hit us up at hello@editodd.io. Because like, why not join us? Small, manageable things. Pick your thing. Let us know how it's going. Okay, that is it for today, folks. Thank you so much to Tom for joining us today and being willing to chat about what you're going through. That's no small thing, and we really appreciate it. It gets better, Tom. And thank you to P. Maria for popping in. We love it. For more Robin, and you may need that, you probably don't need it, but like if you do, you can follow me at Real Rob Hops on all the platforms, all the socials, as the kids today say. Well Adjusting is an Edit Audio original series. It's exec produced by Steph Colburn and Robin Hopkins. Our producer and editor is Maria Passingham, and our production manager is Kathleen Speckert. Thank you to the entire Edit Audio team and to you for listening. Oh, hey, before you take out those AirPods, this show is just for entertainment. If you are in need of help, please, please, please reach out to a professional. Go ahead and get that help. You deserve it.